Hello everyone, we are live here, so I'm going to get started. I'm not waiting around. I know sometimes we wait around a little bit, but not today. So today's going to be about sort of getting out there and understanding why the clients want us to get out. And that's why I have this sort of Terminator picture here. Our clients want us out of the house, and we're going to discuss sort of all the implications this has for us as photographers, not only with our real estate photography, but also when it comes to just our general photography, but definitely when it comes to our real estate photography. All right. So why do those clients want us out? What does this mean? How can we go ahead and go about all this and get the maximum amount of quality, get out of there quickly, and yet still provide a great product? So this is a very, very important concept, because I think a lot of the opinion leaders in our industry and any industry, they tend to spend a lot of time, like say a half a day on a single photo. And the thing is, there's sort of people that are maybe obsessive people, and that's great. That's why they've gotten to where they're at. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I think that's a good personality trait, okay? But I'm saying a lot of us just don't have the clients, and we don't have the time to pull something like that off, okay? So how do we get the maximum amount of quality for that time that we've spent? And sort of how do we ignore sort of some of these people that are teaching us techniques that aren't really practical in terms of our commercial work or even our real estate photography work, because that's just too slow, okay? You cannot move that slow, not only in real estate photography, but in photography in general, okay? And I usually do this, so let me take a little break here just for 30 seconds, and I just want to check the stream and make sure everything's going well, just in case. And it looks good, okay? So I just like to check that. And I'm going to jump over here. We're just going to take a little 30-second break, and I'm going to get a glass of water just so maybe people might join us. All right, back. Okay, so how does this all parlay into our real estate photography? How can we go faster and still maintain that quality? So if you look at this graph here, the term that's used for this is the law of diminishing returns. And if you can see here, if we're spending very little time, you see our quality isn't good enough. So we don't want to spend, say, 10 seconds on a photo, right? But there's going to be a certain amount of time, especially when we combine that with a skill level, that we can spend, and it's just right in that sweet spot. And I feel like I found that sweet spot for real estate photography, at least for me, where you're spending hardly any time on your photos, just like an HDR shooter might, just bracketing off some exposure. You're not spending any time. You're getting a couple of exposures, and you get home, and what's happening is you can just make a good photo at that point. You have the information to make a good photo. You don't necessarily have the photo right out of the camera, right? But you can make it later, and it's not a difficult process, okay? So I go into these processes in my class and how to do that with a minimal amount of equipment, as you can see on my website at peccephoto.com. But this is a very important concept we're going to talk about. The more time you spend, sort of the less you're getting back, the less quality you're getting back. And the other point I want to really emphasize to you during this video is your client, whether people will admit this or not, or whether they know it or not, your client is getting upset with you. The more time you sit there and sort of take with your lighting and stuff, they don't care, okay? They really don't. They want you to get the hell out of the house. Believe me on this, I know what I'm talking about. Clients want you out of that house sooner than you think, okay? If you think your client starts to get frustrated with you at about an hour, you should probably start to try and get out of there at about 45 minutes. I feel like whatever they're sort of conveying to you, probably give them a little buffer on the faster side, I'd say, because if they're showing a little bit of frustration, that probably means the way people interact with each other in life, that probably means they're quite frustrated frustrated because you have a formal relationship, right? So if you see a little bit of frustration or a little hint of any impatience or anything, that probably means there's a big problem, all right? It's kind of like cockroaches, right? If you see one, there's probably 100, they say. So just like that, okay? So the law of diminishing returns is going to be a big concept throughout this video. And this is a GX85, and one of the things I wanted to talk about was I wanted to sort of overlay what we're talking about onto video as well. Video for you guys out there doing real estate photography. And let me just get in here and go ahead and make this bigger so you guys can see me do this for a second. I have a GX85 right here, and it has IBIS in the body. It's absolutely amazing, the IBIS. It's absolutely just 100% amazing. And I'm telling you guys right now, I have enough experience with this to where I know for a fact, if you guys got this camera or a camera that had comparable IBIS, I'm gonna go ahead and stand, you might not be able to see me, but if you just hold it like this inside of a home and sort of do a pan like this, see how I know you can't see my whole body, but those are going to come out absolutely stunning. It's like you're on a fluid head tripod, okay? And the funny thing is, there's even a setting on here. Let me actually show you guys. There's even a setting for pans. I don't use it that much, but if you go in there, operation mode, and you see that one right there, it's not correcting, or wait, it's only correcting on the side-to-side axis, and it's not really, we won't go into it, but it's made for panning, okay? It's made for that. So again, you want to do a pan, you don't even need to get out a tripod in your real estate photography video. Right? That's amazing to me. You don't even need to get out a tripod. You can just do that with something handheld. And so I've often told people, go ahead and get some type of a gimbal or something, walk through the house, get a drone, do stuff handheld with your video inside the house. You only need a little clip. You only need a second of good video. So if there was a faucet right here, a faucet right in front, you know that classic shot where people get the shot with the faucet, you could just put it on a higher frame rate, your camera, and do a slider move like this, and you're going to be able to slow it down in post because you shot in that high frame rate. That's going to sort of stabilize things, because when we slow things down, they tend to get more stable because they're moving slow. So those edges are sort of, masked a little bit, and you can also stabilize it in post. So it's just insane. People can go around houses, I feel like, and get 95, maybe even 100% of the footage they need just with minimal equipment for video. It absolutely 100%, I believe in this. Okay, so let's keep going on here. We're gonna get in here and see what points we had next. Some of the points I'm telling you, for one, if you think about f-stoppers and you sort of think about how everyone talks about video and real estate photography, like if you go on the forums online, you hear people talking, you need this camera, you need that, you need a full frame, you need this lens. But I'm not saying a GH5 is a bad camera, but f-stoppers are a full-blown video production crew, I'd say. They're constantly making videos, right? That's pretty much what they do. I emailed Lee a while back, the guy, and he's like, yeah, we used to use D750s. We liked them. We moved over to GH5s, and they love them. So in other words, they're using micro four thirds sensors, okay, and they're doing professional work with video day in and day out. Okay, what does that tell you? So I don't think you should worry too much about the sensor size and stuff. I think you should worry about, getting good quality video and having good techniques and stuff and getting out fast. Okay, and we're going to talk about even some more extreme examples in the video realm. So you have this example where, now you got to understand, we're talking on one hand about making a $200 or $300 video for real estate. People are making Hollywood movies on iPhones, okay? So I don't think I need to prove this much more than to say something like this. This director right here, Steven Soderbergh, he's even saying, maybe he's in a bit of a high or something because he just shot a film or two with these iPhones. But I'm going to parlay this point into some wedding points as well. But the fact is, he's saying he's going to shoot with these iPhones for all his upcoming film. He's saying, and he's a Hollywood director, okay? Think about that. So you're shooting your little, $200 real estate job. So don't get too caught up in the equipment. I don't think that's what matters, all right? I don't think that's that important. Like people, like you might get the impression when you're inside the forums, it just doesn't matter if you have, something like I have here, the GX85, a little micro four thirds with IBIS. I do think the IBIS is important, so that's one thing that would be important, okay? I'm going to sort of parlay that point. Let's say you're a wedding videographer and your bride and groom, they go up, let's say they go up onto the roof of the building that you're in the reception, and it's like a little private moment. Maybe it was unscripted. What do you think is going to be a more effective technique? For me to come up there, and I come up there by myself with maybe a really fast lens on here, and I'm just with them, and I've kind of developed a relationship with them, and I'm getting video of them like this, just with this IBIS in here is unbelievable. Do you think that's going to be more effective, or do you think it's going to be more effective if I come up there with a video crew and lights and putting them in their face and all this stuff in a huge camera? Okay, I hope you can see that this stuff, it's funny because in my opinion, technology and cameras is really coming in the IBIS. The sensor stuff, I don't even feel like sensor advancements are that important. And that it's funny because I feel like maybe I just think opposite of people, but that's not the advancement we're getting. Photos have been the same for 100 years. The quality of the photos has been the same. You don't see 100 years ago there were great photos, and nowadays there's great photos, of whatever subject. So the real advancement we're getting is inside here and things like the IBIS, not so much the sensor technology. I think people get way too caught up on that. That stuff doesn't matter. So focus on getting cameras with IBIS, because you're going to have to buy lens. Like say you crazy about a Voigtlander lens or something. It's not going to have, it might not have the I don't want to call it IBIS, but the image stabilization in the lens, right? So that's why I love these bodies that have IBIS inside the body. That's a double in body, in stabilization inside the body, right? But something like the GH5, right, is, I'd say, the absolute bomb. Something like this is, you're getting GH5. This is the GX85. You're getting GH5 quality image stabilization, but at a really, really low price. And this is going to come up later when I talk about sort of you guys going on vacation with your cameras, all right? All right, let me resize this down, take a little refresher here. Let's see what we got next. Yeah, that was our next topic. So remember, the point of this blog is clients want you out. Clients want you to be done with your job ASAP. They want you to get the hell out of there. And I think that's true almost with any client, whether it's product photography, anything. I think the general thing you should keep in mind is clients want you to be finished. Imagine if you order something in a restaurant. It might be a great restaurant, but you actually, whether you know it or not, you don't want the chef laboring over little things on your dish for an hour. You actually want to eat. You're hungry. You want that. So even in your own life, if you sort of swap it around the times when you are the client, maybe a haircut, you don't want to be sitting there for 2 hours, right? Even if the guy's an artist. That might be your thing, so maybe you do, but I think you get the point. So I'm going to parlay this into going on vacation with your cameras, because this is such a big thing that happens to all of us. And I recently saw a post on Facebook where a guy said that he was bringing all his camera gear and he was going on vacation with his family, and he was taking stuff out of his suitcase, or at least jokingly saying he was taking out, pants and underwear to make room for his tripod. And I'm telling you, okay, telling you, let me get so I can, you guys are going to want to see this a little better. I went off and I paid $30 for this, all right? It was they're cheaper here. The company Siriui is a lot cheaper here over in Thailand, so it's great though. Absolutely unbelievable product. You can't do everything with this. We all know that, but I'm just saying, if you combine this with something like a really good camera like this that has IBIS, and you're going to be doing really well in low light, because why? You might have a fast lens on here and you can get photographs, right? You can get photographs. So really the point of this blog, right, is you're not sort of molesting your family with annoyances, right? This guy wanted to take up space in his wife's bag and stuff for his tripod, right? Look, what is this gonna do bad to you? So, and some of you might be saying, oh, well, you know, to really get the highest quality, I need to bring my camera gear. And to some extent that's true, but another way to think of this is I don't really think that's true. Remember the law of diminishing returns. We're going to be able to get 98% of the way there to where we want to be. And let's face it, you're on vacation with your family. You really think you're going to be 100% concentrating on your photos? You're not. It's not true. People think that, but maybe if you go on a trip by yourself, you're going to be 100% sort of delved into the psychology of making great photos, and maybe that's when you want to bring all your gear with you. But I just think it's highly, much better, I think, to go ahead and realize you're just having a fun time. You don't want to sort of annoy your family and all your friends or buddies, whoever you're going on vacation with, and bringing all this bulky stuff. You can get 95, 98, even 100% of the way there with this really very compact equipment. And that sort of, once again, is going to parlay into our next topic here. Let me get this back down. Put that back down. Grab this guy down. And let's get back over there. And yeah, I mean, here's a great list of stuff. And all this stuff, I hope, is sort of connecting in your mind, but I'm not now. But you can see this is DxOMark's their analysis of all these smartphones. And remember, what was Steven Soderbergh using for his Hollywood films? Let's find it. I'm not sure if it's going to be the exact one. But Apple iPhone 8, here's the 10. So he's probably using this one, right? I'm not a big phone person. Some of you guys know that. But it's not even very high on the list, right? So I think this is a very, very intriguing looking phone. And I know there's some big controversy with this Chinese company right now. But the point here is you can get a phone, a nice phone, and sort of you can maybe think about this like, well, I might not buy that certain stuff for my vacations, right? I can invest the money in this phone. Maybe I'll be able to use this phone on my vacations, but I'm also going to be able to take amazing photos and videos with this phone or this phone or this phone, right? So all this stuff, remember that law of diminishing returns. You're going to annoy people with your sort of obsessiveness. You got to keep that in mind. I really believe that. You're going to annoy people with that in the long run. You got to keep in mind you really want to be concise with your gear, sort of less cumbersome for your family, for your friends, for your clients. Less cumbersome. Just think of things in terms of just how much quality you can get. You want to get the maximum amount of quality and be the least intrusive. So stuff like this. This is actually a preferred street photography camera, this GX85, and look at how small it is. And of course, it's hidden. Of course, you know, I'm sort of less, I stand out less with a little camera like this, and it has the IBIS, so I can shoot in low light. Okay, so we're not losing anything. Great photos, great video, and yet you're not really losing anything when you compare it to DSLR if you get a really nice lens on there. So I think that's just an amazing combo. Same thing goes with these phones coming out to almost to a greater extent, right? Or maybe you could say to a less extent, where you might not be getting the same video or photo quality as we got out of this GX85, or you might even get better in certain instances, because these phones can really do some amazing thing. I mean, look at that. This phone has, I think, 3 lenses up here where you can sort of zoom in. Does a bunch of amazing stuff. I just sort of glossed over it. It's out of my budget, but I'd love to look into buying one of these one day. So you have something this big, put in your pocket. It's a photo and video taking machine at a professional level. Don't forget, the iPhone is down here. There's people making Hollywood movies with iPhones. Okay, look at this phone up here, or any of these that you could possibly imagine. These Chinese companies are making some great stuff. The Samsung Galaxies, I'll let you guys go ahead and decide that for yourself. But the point is, the phones taking on vacation, even using on your real estate jobs for video and even pictures, I'd say, especially on the exterior. Okay, so just want to get you guys thinking of ideas. I don't see anything wrong with using a good quality phone for an exterior, especially when the sun's out. Okay, so don't forget, client wants you out of the house. And the last point, you're actually going to make more money this way too, because you are a business, right? The quicker you get out of that house, the more money you can make that day. So it's all about business too. So everything sort of makes sense when we realize client wants us out. Okay, he wants us out. I want to get out too. So that's great. We're both in agreement. I want to get out of there. I want to make more more money per hour. He wants me out. I'm going to make him happier. I'm going to start buying equipment that makes more sense for me, right? Something that makes more sense where I'm in the house and here I am. No fluid head, no anything. I just finished my photos and this is what I'm doing. And maybe this is what I'm doing by the sink. And again, maybe outside I have my drone. Maybe I have a gimbal that I put this on, or my phone for a walkthrough. I'm done, okay? 30 minutes, I'm done. I just made the video. Go ahead and use DaVinci Resolve, by the way. That's actually another video I might have upcoming. DaVinci Resolve is just absolutely mind-blowing. I can't even believe it, guys. I really think it's I think it's revolutionary, and I'm mainly commenting on the fact that it's free. So this just has never happened in my eyes. I mean, and then you're not only moving up a step, I feel, from Premiere Pro, but you're not paying anything, so you lose your bill. And then it does things like image stabilization a lot faster and better, in my opinion. It does some amazing stuff. And then it has optical flow, so you can go really slow down your stuff. I'm getting sort of off track here, but anyway, I'm just totally smitten with DaVinci Resolve, so check that out. But all right, that about does it. I always get sweat. I think I'm a sweaty talker or something. I have my air conditioning on, but I'm sweating out here. So I appreciate you guys dropping by. And I will see you for the next one. Okay. All right. Bye bye.